What's up, everybody? This is CheekyCP. This is episode 13, the Tiny Tim Challenge, and I'm going to play my beat, and I'm going to show you how I made this beat. Here we go.
Just take it from me, I'm just as free as any daughter. I do what I like, just what I like, and how I like it.
CheekyCP with the hits.
That's the beat. All right, so that was the Tiny Tim Challenge. This was crazy week. And I think that I kind of broke a couple of rules, especially some of the rules that we've been talking about recently. So I'll kind of go through what it is I did. You guys be the judge on this. First off, I definitely had some ideas. There was a bunch of different samples that I was kind of like rummaging through that I was going to use, but I ended up just going really, really, really simple. The first is just that the song that I took it from is what I opened the song with. So it's this track. I forgot what it's called. Eve, you might know the name of it. It's like In the Light of the Sunshine or some shit like that. But in that one section, there's a breakdown of that song and you hear the piano start. And I just felt that those chords are really cool. It's this right here. So I just looped that and I pitched it, I like slowed it way down. So we're at 113 BPM. So this is written in half time. So this is actually like if you want to think about it like really like what you'd be rapping over, it's like really like whatever, 60, a little bit over 60 BPM, right? It's like, or actually less than that. It's like 55 BPM, right? So it's super, super slow. And I just let that rock, those two chords rock. And then I really kind of just built the song against those two chords. So when I talk about cheating, it was a little loop. It was a section of a song. It was just two chords, but it sounds really cool because in that sample, there's some violin in the background. So that gave me some ideas, but I really got wild with the melodies and I kind of like went all over the place. So I'm learning Logic. Usually I use Beatmaker 3. So I will just kind of show you like two elements of this beat that where I was trying to expand from what I normally do. So Logic is fairly new to me. The first thing that I'll show you is the beat is really, really, really simple. Just the drums themselves. I really just have a kick, a hat, an open hat, a snare, and I used like a weird sample that I found in Logic to have this like weird little whoop noise, right? So I'll play the beat. That's the backbone of this track, right? And then I downloaded a drum kit from Bolo, the producer, who is all over YouTube, and he has really good videos about Beatmaker 3 and different iOS apps. And that's where the kick, the hi-hat, and the open hat come from. And then I used his 808 as well. I really don't mess with the 808s at all. So this was where I wanted to kind of expand. So here's an example of the 808. So anytime you're slowing something way down like that and you're making a beat in halftime, it's going to automatically have this like bounce to it. I used some 808 glides as well, which was what you hear in the beginning. And then when I was rummaging through Logic, I found this Chinese erhu violin.
There is no Kaiser Soze.
The cool thing about this is that it's dynamically going to respond to how you're pressing the keys. So that's just a light press, and then that's a hard press. So I was able to kind of get like a cool different melody going if I press it harder on the MIDI controller. So the last thing, there's two things. One is in terms of what I've always been trying to mess with is arpeggiators. And that's what I included in the background. So when you listen in, you can actually hear, I'll try to solo just the arpeggiator here. Let's play it. Oops, sorry. So I kind of developed some really cool chords, and I wanted the arpeggiator to kind of accent those. So I started introducing tons of violin, cellos, trumpets as well. And if you hear the arpeggiator against all of that, it sounds very cinematic. We've been talking about, you know, film scoring and stuff like that. So that's kind of where this whole idea came from. So this is just showing you what's built into Logic. It has the studio violins, the studio cellos. It sounds really good. I didn't even tweak with them that much. I added some more reverb. I added this like little trumpet line just to make it sound like a little more regal. So you could actually hear like trumpets kind of going da-da, da-da. And my whole idea here was make a beat that I could just pull the Tiny Tim sample out of and play those chords on the MIDI controller using a piano patch. And then there's really no other samples in here. Just take out that beginning part and I have a beat here. And it's just all inspired from the Tiny Tim chords. And the other backbone of this whole idea was make it super simple and to incorporate like a cinematic type of thing that builds at the very end of each verse going into the chorus. So those are like the things that were going through my head throughout this beat. And that's really it. So yeah, that's my beat.